Taking off a Q60 bumper. You have to take these little brackets off that hold the bumper on. There's one of the bolts right there. And brackets up there. There's this little white clip right here that's hiding in there. Gotta pull it down, pull it out, take the bolt out first though. So a little clip, take the clip out. There's a bolt right here. Take that one out. That's the one you need to take out, is the one right here. And the ones that go along the front of the bumper. The other bolts you don't need to take out, like the back ones. On both sides, you're gonna need to take that little tin bolt out that holds the bumper on right here. There's a tin, obviously for the bracket right here that's under this trim panel on both sides. We have the parking sensors. There's a connector in there. See those two connectors on that panel on there? You need to disconnect them because that goes with the bumper. And there's going to be two blinker connectors in there too. You need to disconnect. The bumper comes off. And then the top ones. Removing a Q60 bumper. The easiest way to get it off, I mean, this one right here is going to be a pain to get to. But you gotta take the clip off. There's going to be a bolt that's right here. That one. You gotta take all the front ones off of the splash guard. It goes all the way around, just the front ones and that two side ones. You have to disconnect the fog lights on both sides. These two connectors, I'll show you where they connect. They connect right here to this bracket, is these two right here. And that one bolt right here I was telling you about, this is the only one you take off. And then the front ones. Obviously the same side, took the clip off the other side. The white bolt, you gotta pull it off to kind of, and brackets hold that bumper on there pretty good. And that's how you take the bumper off. Next step of the heat exchanger, you're gonna need to take off the crash bar. You gotta take this one off first. You could take them off together, but a lot of people don't have those special tools to get the other piece off. So just take off these four. Those four, I believe they're 13s, 13 millimeter. Yeah, I think they're 13s, but those might be 12s. And the back ones are 13s. Yeah, crash bar needs to come off to do a heat exchanger. Front part of the crash bar. If it looks like this one off of a Q60, this is how you remove it. 12 millimeters, 12 millimeter bolts that hold the front part of it. You got this connector right here, as it goes to that. You got the this connector right here, which that's the ambient temperature sensor. You got this little bottom connector right here that goes on the very bottom, right down there. That's all you need to take off. Everything else comes off. And the two top bolts are tins, at which they mount right here. And that's all you need to do. And then next is the brackets. Those are 13s, I believe. You don't need to take both of them off though, just one side. But it's easier to take both of them off. Okay, when taking off this baby heat exchanger, you're gonna need to pinch the lines with some Pittsburgh radiator clamps. It's Harbor Freight, if you don't know. And they're both pinched. That one's up there pinched. That one's right there pinched. Already drained it. And that's how much coolant's in there. Pretty much nothing. For a Q60 Q50. Literally nothing. And I slide it out this way. You do need to take this little plastic piece off because it comes out a lot easier without it on there. When putting the Mishimoto heat exchanger on, this is what you're gonna take off. You're gonna take off your pump. It's 2 bolts. These 2. Your horn, one of the little horns. That's the bolt right here. Here's the horn. To squeeze it in there. Take off the left passenger crash bracket. And when sliding it in here, you're gonna have to pull on this to get it in there. And you have to pull on it because you don't wanna rub it against your condenser or mess up the back of the heat exchanger. So you have to pull it. You won't break it. As hard as you pull, it won't break. It's just gonna flex. And make sure when you put these on, they had put these new little plugs that go in here, and you can't tell they're in there. So make sure you remove that. That one down there too. And that's all you have to do. It's not that bad. It's not that hard. And for the Mishimoto heat exchangers, you see this little pipe right here. This is the one that goes on the left side of the heat exchanger. In between there, you need to put this. Don't matter which way you put it. Go this way, that way, don't matter. But it goes in here to extend it to reach all the way up there. That's why I clamp down here. You cannot clamp up here yet. Clamp down here. Make life a little easier, so you know. That little rubber grommet you gotta put right here too. Take a little washer looking thing out and then slide it up in there. The easiest way to bleed the system is block this one still. Do not release this one. Still keep it blocked. And show a little bleed valve right there. Go ahead and leave it off until the coolant starts coming out, like I did. Shaboom. And then seal it up. And I use a little angle hose to fill up the heat exchanger until it's topped off like it is. And this bottom one, you're gonna need to fill that one up with coolant too before you release the clamps to get it nice and full. Least of air pockets as possible. And that's how you bleed it. It's not that hard. You could use a scanner, but a lot of people don't have scanners. So I'm doing it the way you don't use a scanner. But you gotta block them off. Don't release the clamps. Fill it up. Make sure the hoses are full. And then put it on there. And then take the clamps off. Okay, when assembling all these brackets and stuff, crash bar, the brace, you see the little wear mark where the bolt mate? Try to line them back up as best as possible. Makes assembling a lot easier. Just remember these back bolts are 12, the fronts are, the back bolts are 13s, the fronts are 12s, my bad. On both sides. But just make sure you line everything up, makes life easier.